Hey guys, just got done watching The Purge, Anarchy from 2014, the sequel to The Purge, it came out in 2013, and it's directed again by James DeMonaco. And to be honest with you, with this film, I found it very enjoyable, but I won't call it a horror film, even though it's got the horror category on it. I won't call it a horror. I'd call it more disturbing, kind of what society can be like, but I won't call it horror. So, the film stars, let me go down my list. The film stars Frank Grillo, Carmen Ejogo, Zach Guilford, Keely Sanchez, Zoe Soul, Justina Machado, John Beasley, Jack Conley, Noel Gillimy, and other people. To be honest with you, the film. Oh, and there's a cameo by Edwin Hodge, the Stranger. It was in the first one, but it's like 15 seconds. Is part of the rebellion group who don't like the Purge. So basically, the movie starts out like any movie. You get to know these different sets of characters. You meet Ava and you meet her mum, and you meet Shane and Liz, and you meet Sergeant. Sergeant's putting on his body armor, basically his bulletproof vest, and he's getting in his metal car. Now we all know cars are made of metal, but it's got metal plates on it. It reminded me a lot of Mad Max, but instead of being all ripped up, with the thing on. Eva and her mum, basically, Eva's mum finishes work and she wants a promotion, and basically Eva gets on the back about a bit, and Papa Rico lives with them. Well, you find out later on he sold his body to be purged so that they got 100 grand, the mum and the daughter. So you're sitting there going, oh my. He sacrificed himself. I will sacrifice myself, Shane and Liz have gone shopping, I guess, and they go to their car, and all of a sudden, this bloke pops up like this. I'll show you like, and he's got all this paint on him, and you're like, bloody hell, and he's like, and he gets on his skateboard and kind of skateboards off, and then you see this whole group of guys. And it's quite a good setting to the beginning of the movie because it's very creepy, them and their van. Their van reminded me a lot of RoboCop, the van, the gang driving that. It reminded me a lot of that. And they got paint on their faces and masks, and they're like swinging baseball bats and stuff. And it's quite intimidating. So basically they get in their car, they drive off, and it breaks down. And then they turn up again at the end bit of that bit, and they're like, ooh, and they go, quick run, they cut the wires. So they're basically running, and then it's night time, and the other guys ain't caught up with them. So why didn't they just drive slowly behind them? That's what I would have done. But anyway, Sergeant's out, and he's wanting to, and you're like, what's he doing? Why is he out? He seems to be a cop. He seems to be either a policeman or a military guy. I was guessing he was a policeman. But, because of the way the time is, like more hard-edged one. So he's driving about, and basically Eva and her mum, I can never think of her name. I don't know why I haven't got her name here. But Eva and her mum, that's all I'm going to say now. Eva and her mum basically are at home. And this bloke breaks in, played by Noel Guglimli, aka as Diogo as Noel G. Right? He was in Fast and the Furious, and he goes, I'm going to Jill, to Paul Walker's character, in case you know who I'm talking about. That's his most famous role in my view. Right? Best scene. I'm going to Jill. For years I thought he said he was going to jail. But no, he was going to a different racetrack. Anyway. So basically, he breaks in and he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to kill you." Finds out it's the daughters. Then he's like, "Oh, ho, ho, double the money." And the probably thought he was going to rape them, to be honest. So then you get these guys that look like they're in SWAT team / scuba gear coming in, and they shoot him. They grab hold of the two women and they go, "We've got two for your purge," and they're pulling them out. Well, they're kicking and screaming like, "Ah, no, no!" And Sergeant pulls out. He goes, "No, don't do it. Don't do it, Sergeant. Don't do it." This is what he's saying to himself. "Don't do it. Can't just leave them. Drive away." But he can't. So he gets out his car, goes up behind him, basically shoots him really cool like, and shoots the guy in the truck who's been going around in the truck shooting people with like a machine gun. And you're like, "Who are these people?" And basically, he shoots the guy goes down. He then walks off and says, "Come on, come with me." But Shane and Liz got in the back seat of the car. So there's a big argument going on. And the guy's getting up again. Big Daddy is getting up and he's going to shoot him. So he gets in the car. They get in the car, they drive, basically shoots some armor. Had to be armor cutting bullets, armor piercing bullets. And basically the car breaks down. So then they're running through the thing. Shane gets caught in a trap and it alarms everybody. They start running. Sergeant's shooting people and so forth. And there's a whole lot of chasing going on. There's a point where they end up in a train tunnel, like a subway tunnel, and it goes to Mad Max style. These guys are driving these cars, things like go-kart things, and it's like you're in Mad Max. They got flamethrowers going and all this and killing people, and you're sitting there going, "Mad Max on the tube." Right, and then they're driving behind the main characters, and they're like this far away, right? And I just keep driving fast and hit them. But nope. So Shane goes, "Oh, we're not going to make it." So he starts shooting. He tells Liz to stay with him and they shoot. He gets shot in the arm. And you will think, yeah, weakling. He says, "Keep shooting." They blow one of the car things up. And then a sergeant, even her mum, are waiting for her. And they're like, "Where are they? Where are they?" And they haven't turned up. They haven't turned up, and then they turn up all of a sudden, and basically they're okay. And you're like, but he was just being shot at. He was just being shot at really, really badly. So what the hell's going on? Could that be it? Oh no, I've been getting it wrong. Eva's the mum. Callie is the girl. So Callie. So basically, he's killing people. Basically, he's killing all these people. Sergeant protecting these people. So they get out the subway. They end up getting caught by the people in the truck, and that's when you see it. The shocking conclusion that those people aren't killing people. They're purging them by giving them to people for money. Because there's people that goes, "Give me the money, give me the money, take them and give me the money, Sonny." And you're sitting there going, yeah. And it says that these rich people want to play invitation only. You know, the film I reviewed from 2009. We're gonna sell them to the rich people. And then the rich people are gonna pay to hunt these people down in this small room where other people watch on the thing. And you're sitting there going, this movie's quite cliched. There's a lot of things from horror movies and action movies in this. Most times watching this, I was thinking Running Man. Because they're running from different parts of the town. I know Running Man's a lot different, but I just felt like that's what Sergeant basically was at one point. Quick, I'll protect you. And it's like, for a guy who is on a mission, he's protecting a lot of people. So Shane says, "I love you, Liz." And Liz goes, "I just want you to know I love you too." And just as she says it, he gets shot to smithereens. And you're like, yeah. You know? So she's crying. And basically, Sergeant goes around shooting people and beating up, getting the X-ray, getting the night vision glasses on, shooting people. And you're sitting there going, what can't Sergeant do? What can't this guy do? So basically, they end up getting out because Camillo Johns turns up and his group of anti-purgers, where they don't believe in the purge, but they're still going to kill people because the people who are purging deserve to die. So technically, they're still purging, even though they don't agree with purging. Do you see what I'm saying? So basically that happens, and they get away, and they're like, "Thank you, Johns." John's played by Michael Kenneth Williams, who was in The Wire and is Chalky in Boardwalk Empire. So you're sitting there and you're like, So then basically Sergeant's in his car and he goes, "What's the time?" And they go, "Oh, it's this." And he goes, "I can still make it." Gets outside this house. They go, "What are we doing here?" And he goes, "That bloke, he killed my son. The bloke in the house killed my son. He'd run him over 12 months ago, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take care of business." So he goes from being like this good guy to you're like this anti-hero, but you feel bad for him, obviously, because his son. So you're a bit like, wow. So he's actually going to purge, and it gets quite depressing, actually. And he gets in there, he wakes him up, goes over and goes, "Do you remember my son? Do you remember what he looked like? Did you see him? Describe him to me. Pee your pants while you're at it. Describe my son." And you're like, and you feel really bad for him, but at the same time you're like, yeah, this isn't making you popular now. Not because he's a bad guy, because you just feel bad for him, because all the stuff he's done is helped these people, and now he wants to get revenge for his dead son. And I think anybody in their right mind would probably feel the same way. If your son got run over by someone, they didn't get time for it or prosecuted for it, you'd want to take your own revenge. So I can understand where it's coming from, but at the same time, it really made the character a lot more deeper. Do you know what I mean? It brought depth to the character more, and what I liked about this film as well is most of the people's problems felt very real, and especially Sergeant. I felt bad for him because he looked like a troubled soul. It looked like it was a mission, and things were stopping him from that, like helping these people. But he never let them down, even though one or two of them died. He never let them down, So he gets in there and he comes out and he's like, he's killed him. He's killed Leo. He's killed the bloke. He's killed him. And then Big Daddy shoots him and stands over him and says this spiel about how the police and the government and the founding fathers have to send people like him to go around killing people because there are not enough citizens purging. Now for this whole movie I saw nearly everybody purging. So apparently, and on the nose it said Pittsburgh, it said Chicago and all that other stuff, and it showed loads of people purging. So what would I ask, how comes they're saying not a lot of people purging? It's just like, what? Yeah, I'm sitting there going, And then basically the guy who Sergeant was going to kill shoots Big Daddy in the head and helps him and drives him to the hospital. And you're like, well, this was pretty good. This is a good film. I felt for Sergeant. I felt for the characters. I felt like they brought depth to the character that mattered, being Sergeant. And I felt each character had their own little bit of development. Some a lot more than others. The acting was pretty good I would call this a cheap movie. $9 million it cost to make. I'd call it a cheap movie, but I'd say it worked in most of the areas. The only problem with it is I won't call it a horror film. Unlike The Purge, where it was a home invasion kind of horror, this is more like post-apocalyptic. This is kind of like apocalyptic for 12 hours. Do you know what I mean? Like the streets are on fire and anything goes. It feels like the founding fathers let be apocalyptic kind of setting for 12 hours and then it stops. I liked the action. I thought the action was all pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thought the film was a lot of fun. But again, it's known as an action horror, and I didn't see any horror in it really. I saw more action and more kind of, in my view, Sergeant Frank Grillo was kind of like the Punisher. He was kind of like that kind of character. You know, the Punisher just shoots people, he doesn't take names, he just does what he needs to do to make them pay. That's what Sergeant's a bit like, except he's got people with him, basically, he saves along the way. And I enjoyed seeing it again, the first one was stuck mostly at the home. This one was outside. But I think being outside, even though it made it a so much more better film, it took away from the horror element more because it just didn't seem as dark. But at the same time, it seems more disturbing, like what's around every corner. So I would kind of put them together quite well because a lot of people hated the first one. I didn't mind the first one. I thought there was a lot of flaws, but I didn't mind it. The second one, I enjoyed from the action point of view, but I was upset that there wasn't more horror in it. You could call horror being scared what's around each corner, but at the same time, the same thing happened in Running Man. He got shot down in the tunnel, Arnold Schwarzenegger, sorry, and he ends up fighting these different people, and he's like, "Well, what?" And he's getting attacked, and it felt like that. And I tell you something, this film, right, would make the perfect video game because every scene is like a video game. When they're running through the tunnel, where they're being hunted in the room, and he has to stop them, where he's driving along. You see, I hope they do make a video game of the Purge. I think it'd be quite interesting. You could choose either to Purge or be somebody trying to get away. And I think it'd be quite a good game. The Saw game was pretty good when it was the first one. So the Purge one might be good if they make that. Now, I know there's a Purge 3 coming out next year. So I'm wondering what it's going to be like. Because last time it was victims stuck in a home with big names. I mean, Lena Headey and Ethan Hawke are quite big names. This movie, not so much. I mean, I won't call any of the characters really big names in this movie. But the thing is, I would say that the acting was decent. It was good. But I'm wondering if the third one is going to go from the Purger's point of view, or if it's going to be purging in a different setting. If so, I did feel like the town area where this film was, I feel like it could have been a lot more crowded and a lot more darker, like them going through places more, like going through buildings and stuff. And even though it happens, it doesn't happen. It feels very simple, like it's on a floor plan. If go that way, go straight, go left. Okay, we're in that section, we'll go straight and left again. It didn't feel like they were fully utilising the city. And you think to yourself, what are these people doing? Why aren't they going away? Well, wouldn't you go away? Why can't you go on holiday? Maybe it's because they put the rent up or they don't let you out or something. Not the rent up. The airport tickets and that. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to seeing the third one. So, my overall thoughts of this movie is it's well acted. It's a lot better than the first one when it comes to the action. But I didn't get the same kind of feeling as the other one. The main guy, the polite gentleman guy in the first one, who is, if I can remember, I'm just trying to think. Oh, this is what I hate. I hate when you try and think, and you can't remember. The guy's name was Rhys Wakefield, that was it. I liked him in the first one because he was creepy. He was in control. He reminded me of John Malkovich in a lot of ways, but younger in the way he was portraying it, over the top, but in control. And I kind of missed that about that in this movie because I felt like Sergeant was always in control, even when he was in trouble. I never thought he was in any danger. It was the other people I was worried about in the movie. So I missed that because I thought it would have been a lot better if we had like a psycho chasing them or that. And Big Daddy, you could say he is, but I didn't really think he was that impressive. So I'm hoping the third one kind of brings both of them together and makes it kind of like a bit of both. Because the whole thing about them bumping into different people and them trying to purge and them being thing, it got a bit stale to a degree. The action was great, and I'm not putting the movie down because I enjoyed it a lot. But there's certain things I didn't like about it, like the same thing happening. And it was very cliched, like I said. There was things taken from other movies, like Invitation Only and all these other films. So, yeah, I like the film. I think it's fairly decent. Like I said, the acting's good. The action scenes are all right. I mean, they're nothing spectacular. It's just standard shooting and running about, really, to a degree. What else? What else I've been about the movie? I like the artwork. But yeah, it's an alright film. I recommend it. It's not gonna. You'll enjoy it, but it's not one of those films where you'll put in your top 10. If you're putting your top 10, then you obviously haven't seen a lot better action or horror movies. That's the way I see it, to be honest. Because it's one of those movies. It's not one of those. It's not one of those movies you watch, action horror movies. You sit there, you go like this. Oh, I really like this film. I think it's great. Yeah, I really like it. But then you look at it again in the future and go, no, maybe I might watch this another time, but I'm not gonna watch it now. I'm gonna go and put Running Man in because that's a great action film. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those films where you point out and go, oh, this is my favourite. But it's one of those ones you'd recommend someone watch. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.5 because I enjoyed it a lot and I found it very entertaining. And I found it to be quite a good step up from the original, the first movie. But like I said, I would have preferred it if it had had a little bit more, tension and a little bit more scare factor in it. But the one bit where the bloke jumps out from behind the car made me jump. And it was the only jump I had in the movie. But yeah, the action's great in this movie, so I recommend it. It's not the best, but it's alright, for today's standards. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. And thanks for taking time to like that button or comment. And please subscribe, guys, because I'm going to be doing a lot more movie reviews. And I'm just glad to get your comments and your feedback. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a lovely day. And yeah, hopefully if you haven't already, you'll go on the trip with Sergeant in the Purge Anarchy. So thanks for watching, guys, and take care. Bye-bye.